In Part 2 of TMC's 3-part optical table setup series, we'll demonstrate the plumbing installation, connecting the air supply, and installing valve control arms. Contained in the hardware bag is a long length of tubing, some T-fittings, some gray plastic clips, and 3 valve control arms. The tubing will need to be cut to length as needed. Make sure the cuts are clean and square to the tubing. Otherwise, the press lock connections can leak. To connect the tubing into the fitting, press the tubing into the orange ring until it stops. To remove the tubing, press the orange ring towards the fitting and pull the tubing out. As much of the plumbing as possible of the leg system arrives pre-assembled. Consult this plumbing schematic for the portions that will be required to be assembled in the field. We will start at the filter output. A length of tubing needs to run to a T. The first T, labeled at T1, will branch off to the back left leg, and a second T, labeled T2. The second T will branch off to the 2 front legs. Finally, we will have to plumb the output from the back left leg to a third T, labeled T3, which will split the air between the back left and the back right. The back right leg is a slave leg to the back left. With the remaining tubing, we can connect the air supply from the air source. This could be a compressor or a bottle of compressed air. In the hardware bag is a connector with a 1/4 inch press lock fitting and a 1/8 inch NPT male thread. There is also a reducing bushing going from 1/8 inch NPT to 1/4 inch NPT, which allows for the option of either size. Teflon thread sealant should be applied when using these pipe threads. TMC supplies extra tubing to make the run from the filter input to your air source. Additional tubing is available. It will be up to the end user's facility to provide 80 psi of compressed air up to the TMC tubing connections. Lastly, we can install the leveling arms into the control valves. First, run the red thumb screw most of the way out, so it is just barely protruding below the lever arm. Second, run the foam pad screw all the way down. Now each of the 3 lever arms can be inserted into the valve bracket, aligning the red thumb screw with the center of the control valve. The control arm should slope downwards from the valve. Install the valve control arm into all 3 valves. At this point, the compressed air source can be turned on and set at 80 psi. If everything has been installed correctly, nothing should happen. Now would be a good time to check air connections and check the actual plumbing against the schematic. If necessary, consult the TMC leak troubleshooting guide on the website. This concludes Part 2, Plumbing. Part 3 will cover optical top handling and final floating of the table.